So hi, we are here with Michel Daou. My name is Jason. We just want to have some talk about the Ice Age Alliance format, what they call Alice. And we will present you some of the deck that made top four in the last tournament that ended in last March. So that will give you some idea of what kind of deck you can brew for that format. Hi, Michel, how are you?
I'm fine. How about yourself, Jason?
I'm good. I'm good.
Things are good.
We are trying. We're both French Canadian, so English is not our first language. I'm kind of rough on it, but we'll try. We'll try. So for those who wondered, Ice Age Alliance format is not something new, even if it's kind of fringe. So basically, when Richard Garfield created the original game in 1993, he asked his schoolmate from university to test the game, to be his playtester. So those guys around Scaphalias, Jim Lynn, Dave Perry, they were called the Eastern playtesters since they were in Philadelphia University with Richard Garfield. While testing, they thought that the original game was too strong, and they kind of got fed up with casting big creature like Force of Nature, Lord of the Pit, those kind of stuff. They prefer what I call the small subtleties of the game, like drawing a card, looking on what you will draw next turn, what we today call scry. They like it, all that, those kind of like small interaction that make the difference on the long run. So this is how they invented Ice Age. So Ice Age was created by the playtester of Richard Garfield. It was mostly like a powered down version of the original game. So like Ancestral Recall, they said it was too strong. So this is why they made Brainstorm. Lightning Bolt was too strong, they believe. So they made Incinerate. Most of the card in Ice Age, some of the card in Ice Age are strict reprints, like Disenchant, Counterspell, Swords to Plowshare. Some of them are the same card, but they have different name, like Zuranorb is Prodigal Sorcerer, Findorn Elf is a Landward Elf, and some of them are either strictly better or worse card, like Abyssal Spectre is the Hypnotic Spectre. Instead of Control Magic, they did Binding Grasp and Ray of Command. So that kind of stuff. So and then in 1996 they pull out Alliance, which was like the sequel of Ice Age. In 1996 they did professional tournament with that format. So the Pro Tour of Columbus in July 96 was Ice Age Alliance format only. So this was like the professional tournament. And then after that, in the September, October, November of 96, the Pro Tour qualifier were all Ice Age Alliance. So these are, you can still find tournament report on old website like the Dojo or the Usenet. You can still find some deck lists there. And around, so that format after that kind of like got forgotten a little. It was bring back in 2006 when they pull out Cold Snap, which was like the third set of that block, but it did not like catch up really, like it stayed in the fringe. And then around 2019, David Chamber, which is an old school player from Europe, he started bringing Ice Age deck in his old school tournament. And then from that on, it got on the internet playing by webcam. And like 2 years later, we kind of like have a not a big community, but enough to make a monthly tournament of about 16 players. Most of the time we're 16 players. And we did that video to try to recruit more players. So Michel, I know you started playing Ice Age a long time ago, but for those monthly, you started last autumn.
Yeah,
you
probably
even
started about in September, somewhere around there. Yeah.
You even won the Ice Age
16. Yeah.
16? Was it 16? Yeah, it was 16.
Ice Age 16, and we just finished 17, and we're in 18 right now.
Yes. So we'll get on the top, what I call the top four of the last tournament, the Ice Age 17.
17, yeah.
Do you have anything to add before I get on the deck?
Just maybe that the format is a lot slower than most other formats. So
Yeah, tell
you
us
won't
about
have
it.
like a turn 5 kills or turn 6 kills. That doesn't happen.
That doesn't
It's
happen. So
more of a,
let's say I'm a modern player, and I want to get in that format.
yeah. And
What's your
it's more of
advice?
a it's more of a I guess at minimum half an hour before half an hour to an hour and a half. I guess the games which would make sense, but it's a much slower format. What's fun also is that the deck building hasn't been explored at its fullest. So every monthly we're seeing new types of brews that weren't there in 1996 when the format came out. So there's still a lot of room for creativity. So every tournament that I've played in, I'm seeing new decks that just didn't exist. So
Yeah, I think this is my one of my main attraction to that format is the meta is so diverse. It's not like there's not like one or two best deck and everybody try to play that deck. It keep changing. I remember last summer, everything was green, like they were like green was the trend, and now it's more toward blue, I guess.
yeah, I'm seeing a lot of blue
A lot
recently.
of blue
Yeah, a lot of
recently,
blue. Yeah.
and it shifts a lot. Also, just to mention, there's no really the only card that is banned is the anti card, so we don't care about it. But everything else is open, like four force of will if you want, four necropotence. You can play that, but as you will see, it's not necessarily the good deck. A lot of new players are like, "Oh, I will just do a necropotence deck, mono black, and I will beat everybody." Well,
Not in this
no,
format.
not in that format
No.
because like even if necropotence is a powerful card, if you don't have like low cost powerful card, you go nowhere with it. So, but
Maybe just before we get into the decks, Jason, there's
yeah,
maybe just one card
go ahead.
that is maybe I would say too powerful for the format. It's almost a must, which is Thawing Glaciers.
Yes,
Since the format is very slow, Thawing Glaciers is a land that allows you to get a land every second turn because
it's the original fetch land.
it's the original fetch land. So the format is slow. So you're playing a lot of Flying Glaciers in your deck is almost a must. And there is a lot of land destruction also in Alice. So Flying Glaciers is by far I would say the strongest card in the format. But it's not banned, and neither is Zuran Orb. So those are two cards that
Yeah, Zuran
eventually
Orb
were
we see it
banned in the
often.
Ice Age block, but in Alice they're not banned.
Yeah, so we'll get on the first deck I want to present today. Do you see my screen now? Do
Yeah,
you see it? Yeah. Okay.
it's there. Yeah, so it's the browse deck.
Yeah, the Browse Digger deck. So this is Galen Lemay. I hope I pronounced his name right. I'm sorry if I did not pronounce it. So this is the typical, I say, control deck of the format. Some variation will go on white and blue, which is the most common that we see. Galen here I did red and like a lot of red, more red than we see usually with that kind of deck. And sometimes they will be only blue and red. And we'll see the other deck later that is only blue. So basically, that deck it's a control deck. So if you know your control deck in other format, it's basically the same. As you see, he play 4 Thawing Glacier. You can see it on the top here. There's the Gilderon Outpost, which you play a set of 3 cards. Gilderon Outpost is really cool because basically it's you can pay a colorless and a white and tap it to create a 1/1 token. So in that kind of deck, you wait for the other player to play his card. If waiting to counter, like do counter spell and that kind of stuff, it doesn't play anything. You can pump a guy, and then once you have like two or three token, you do 2 or 3 damage every turn. Basically, you prevent him to put card on play. You see, he play 4 counter spell, 3 force of will. He has 1 binding grass to steal creature, 4 swords to plowshare, that exile creature, 2 disenchant to destroy enchantment. There's a lot of enchantment in that format. And also, what is really fun in that format, I think, and Michelle, you're a big fan of that also, is preparing your next turn, what I call. So there's like 4 brainstorm that you draw 3 card and then put 2 card back. There's the portent that you look at the top 4 card, you
Top three
arrange
cards. Top
the
three
top
cards.
3 card, you arrange it as you want, and then you draw a card at the beginning of the next upkeep. So yeah, there's a lot of preparation. Could you tell me again, Letnam Legacy? Do you remember what it does? You play 2 here.
Yeah,
colorless and a
Latam
blue.
Legacy, you take one card from your hand, you reshuffle it in your library to draw 2 cards at the next upkeep.
Yeah.
So, let's say I drew my Pyroclasm that does 2 damage to each creature, and my opponent's not playing any small creatures or playing a creatureless deck. Well, Pyroclast is totally useless in my hand. So with the Latinam Legacy, I just get rid of the Pyroclast, and I'm drawing 2 cards at the beginning of next turn's upkeep. So it helps me find more of the cards
Your
that
answer.
that I will really need. Exactly.
Yeah, for the red, you play 2 Stone Rain to destroy land, like an opponent Tying Glacier, and 2 Storm Shaman, which is a 0/4 shaman that can pump for 1 red. You can pump it +1/+0. It's a good blocker because it's a 0/4. This is one of the strong red card of the format. If you have a lot of mountain, you can pump it like a 4/4 easily. And but I think the main course of his deck is the Browse Digger combo. So how does that work? And I actually got beat by that deck. So Browse is 2 colorless, 2 blue for an enchantment that you can pay 4 to look at the top. Is it the 4
5 cards, top 5 cards, and you exile 4 of them out of game.
Yeah.
And put 1 in your hand. So you go through your library fairly quickly, exiling all your cards. But
you only keep what you need when you understand what your opponent is playing. And then the Soul Digger is a colorless for 2. And then what's the activation cost of Soul Digger?
You pay two to put the top card of your graveyard under your library. So with the Browse, you're able to empty your library. And once your library is empty, well, you can cycle with the digger the top card of your graveyard back into your library. So if you have an Incinerate, for example, well, then you can incinerate your opponent each turn, or you can even recycle a counter spell if you needed a counter spell. So his win can. Well, I think he said he won only 1 game with the.
It was against
Browse,
me.
and it was against you. The Browse.
But it was awesome, Michel. It was awesome. It was the first time I heard about that combo. It was the first time somebody did it to me. So like it looked like nothing, but once because Browse exile the card in your graveyard and only keep what you need. So basically, his library became just like a pile of what he need that he just keeps shuffling from the graveyard. Like he played a card, goes in the graveyard, put it back with the Browse Digger. I remember he was just like Stone Raining me. And all my creature had been countered already or killed by Incinerate or Source of Plowshare. So he just like slowly killed me like that. I think he did a couple of Lava Bursts, like Lava Burst, put it back in the library, Lava Burst again on the next turn. It's awesome to see it go.
When it works well, it's nice to see. There's also other variants where you put a Jester's Cap. So Jester's Cap allows you to look into your opponent's library and exile 3 cards from the library. So you can cap your opponent, browse the cap back, cap it again, and do it repeatedly. So there's a couple of different variants. What surprised me a bit about his deck is, and like most Browse Digger decks, there's not that many win conditions, eh?
No, it's only mostly the Gilderan Outpost create a lot of token, and he create a lot of token. This is how he beat me the other game. Like
tokens.
If you have 4 or 5 token and he broke everything else I had, it go down. Your 20 life go down quickly. Same with the Storm Shaman. It get really big if you have all the mountain that you need. It's kind of like there's not much, like the guy know what he does, because sometimes a lot of player will put more counter spell like Arcane Denial and Power Sink. He prefer to put card to like 4 Brainstorm and 2 Latinam Legacy to prepare what he need at the right time. And also he's more like a Swords to Plowshare than a counter spell. I believe his deck worked really well. He ended on 4th place, I believe.
He finished in 3rd place. Is it third or
No,
fourth?
it's, I believe it's
Oh, it's
fourth.
fourth. Why it's fourth place? Oh, tied in fourth. He was fourth. Yeah, fourth place. Yeah.
We'll go on the next one. I'm really glad the next one won because it's been a while since a red green deck won. Went that far.
This one went third place, right? I think it went third.
So it's Adam Landry. I hope I pronounced Landry right. So this is the thing that is closely as like there's not many aggro deck in a Alice format, but this is like what it looked the most as it is. It's kind of like a mid-range burn deck, and you have a lot of ramp. So just to show his ramp, you know, he had 3 Findorn health, which is a health that create green mana. The Tinder Wall is a wall 0/3 that costs 1 green, and you can sacrifice it to make 2 red mana. Or the Arkish Lumberjack, it's a 1/1 for 1 red. You can sacrifice a forest to basically do a green or red dark ritual kind of stuff. And to fuel the Orcish Lumberjack, he played the Nature's Lore, which is a 1 green, 1 and a green for a Searcher Library for a forest. And you can put into play untap, which is a big advantage of what we usually those kind of cards, they enter tap. But in that format, the Nature's Lore is enter untap. So you can play it right away. And then he has like what I will call like a burn suit of card. He has a 4 lava bursts. It's the fireball of the format. X red, do X damage.
But still, you know, it's his, like you said, it's his fireball. So he's got his burn spells, lava burst, and incinerate.
Yeah.
And his small creatures, you know, a lot of times they might get killed fairly quickly. The Tinder Wall, you sacrifice. So then what does he have, Jason? When all his creatures die, he puts out the Lurgoyf.
Right? Yeah. So a lot of creature goes in the graveyard, like we said. You have the Lurgoyf, the original Lurgoyf, before Tarmogoyf, there was Lurgoyf, 2 colorless, 2 green. The power toughness is equal to the number of all graveyard that is on it in the game, and +1 for the toughness. So if you have like 2 cards in your graveyard and 1 card in the open-end graveyard, it's already at 3/4. And it as the game goes along, it gets bigger and bigger. The Easter Glider is kind of like the newcomer of 2022. We did not see that card before, but now it's all over the place. Even me, I play that. It's a 2/1 flying artifact that cannot block for 3. It looked like crap, but believe me, there's not much flying creature in that format. So this is kind of like the hit for 2 every turn until the open end waste a card to destroy it. I had a good result with the Easter Glider. I'm really I'm really fond of that card. And he has a Kesa, which is the legendary druid from Alliance. All green creature you control get +1/+1, so he buff his creature. And the Shambling Strider, this is like the finisher. For 6, a 5/5 that you can, for a red and a green, you can pump +1/-1 until enough turn. Those get really big because you cast it when you have like 6 mana available. Let's say you have like 6 land. You can, if it doesn't block it, you can get it to really big. Like a 9/1 is not unusual.
With the right combination of cards, you can actually get it out turn 2. So if you turn 1 Orcish Lumberjack, turn 2 Tinder Wall, and then with both Tinder Wall and Lumberjack, he could get the Strider out turn 2. So
you're right.
5/5/5 turn 2 is not a fun thing to watch. And just to come back to those gliders, Jason.
Yes.
He knocked me out of the tournament with the 16 points of damage from a glider.
Oh, so he beat you with that?
He beat me. He knocked me out. Yeah. So with a 2/1 flyer, you know, pesky. You know, I got killed by a kite, by a flying 2/1 kite. Anyways.
That can block a dead bird turning into a kite.
Exactly.
I need to talk about that card. This is one of the signature card of the format. It's the Stormbind. So if you play red and green, usually you will play the Stormbind. It's an enchantment. 1 green, 1 red, and 1 green. So you pay 2 colorless and you discard a card at random to do 2 damage on a creature or a players. This is really good. So like on the end of game, when you no longer need your land, and let's say you draw land, it's a shock that you can throw in the face of your opponent. And once it's on the ground and you start, like, you stabilize and you have your Stormbind in play, every card you draw each turn, you deal 2 damage to your opponent. It's go really fast. You have 2 cards in your hand, you pay 4, you do 4 damage. It's really strong.
And he added a really fun card to go with the Stormbind, which is the Storm Cauldron.
Yes, go ahead. Explain me that.
He only put 1 Cauldron in his deck, but what the Cauldron does is when the Cauldron is in play, every player, you can do an extra land drop. So you can do 2 lands per turn, but every land that you tap comes back to your hand.
Oh.
So with the Stormbind, it's a good combination. So, you have 4 land, you can tap all 4 lands, 4 lands come back to your hand. You have 4 mana, then you can discard 2 with the Stormbind, and you can put 2 land. Yeah. So at one point, your lands become mini shocks.
Yeah.
So you can end the game that way.
Cool. It's really cool. Let's have a look at on his sideboard. So you have like the Pyroblast for the counter spell war. Burnout is the same. It's a colorless or red to counter and interrupt. You have PH to kill artifact and land. Anarchy to blow up circle of protection
greens, certainly, yeah.
Yeah, or all the 1/1 token from the Gilran outpost. The Monsoon, what does it do again? Do you remember that?
Yeah, well, Monsoon is every single island must be tapped at the end of a player's turn. So if the Monsoon's in play, I have 5 islands. At the end of my turn, I have to tap all 5 islands, and there's no mana burn in Alice. So it was stronger back then because you got the mana burn if you by tapping or it dealt damage to you.
Yeah.
But this is good against counterspell decks because blue,
obviously.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll go on the next one. The next one is Sven Landgraf, the Friction Blue. This is one of the strongest deck, some people say. It's really strong. It's a strictly mono blue deck. There's 3 Tying Glacier to ramp your mana, but otherwise it's a big counterspell deck. You see, he play 3 Arcane Denial, 4 Force of Will, 4 counterspell. So good luck if you want to put something on the ground. There's 2 Word of Undoing that return a creature into your hand. 1 Binding Grasp to steal a creature, and to prepare his next turn, you see you have 3 Latnam Legacy, 4 Portent, 4 Brainstorm. Do you think it's too much?
No. I think I agree with this. He needs these to find his answers quickly. And what's fun about the Brainstorm, it goes well with the Thawing Glacier.
Yes.
So if he has crap in his hand, Brainstorm, put the 2 cards back on top, and then Thaw Glacier.
Activate the Glacier to shuffle the library.
Yeah,
and the finisher are the Friction War Beast, 3/4 for 3 colorless. This is really fast. The problem is when it's leave play, so either that it's exile or destroy or even like bounce, you lose 1 life and you need to sacrifice a land. So a lot of people like me are not fond of that card. It's kind of sometimes a dead trap, but it's really tempting. It's Phyrexia. It's the feel of it. So you like a 3/4 for 3 is there's not that many creatures that have that power toughness for like that cheap mana cost. I guess in that deck it's good because your counterspell will protect your Friction War Beast while you beat your opponent. It's kind of the same with the Illusionary Force, 4/4 for 4 with cumulative upkeep, 1 blue. Flying,
very
so hard to block, and you protect it with your counterspell. And the other one is really good against the Gilderon Outpost deck is the Zuran Spellcaster. This is the 1/1 that you can tap to do 1 damage to a creature or a player. So you just wait for your opponent to casting that you will counter, and then you ping it with your Zuran Spellcaster. It's a really good deck. No wonder it ended up in the final. What do you think about it?
Yeah, very strong deck. It's not really much to add. I don't like playing against a deck like this. Everything gets countered, and then eventually when he has enough mana with the Thawing Glaciers and getting enough islands, pulls out an Illusionary Forces, and then 5 turns and 20 points of damage, and it's done.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really strong. And we'll go to the what I call the desert. The photo is so awesome. This is the winner of that tournament, David Chimber. It's a Pox deck. So if you would have told me last year that a Pox deck will win a tournament, I will not have believed you. But here it is, in all its putrid glory. So basically, what he do, he has the Insidious Bookworm that it's a 1/1 that you can is I think when you sacrifice it, you discard a card from your opening.
When it dies, yeah, you pay 2, 1 black, 1 colorless,
Yeah.
and your opponent must discard a card at random. So with the Pox, Pox is all about card advantage. So
tell us Pox what it is again.
Yeah, Pox is an incredible card. So 3 black. What it is, when you play the Pox, each player must sacrifice 1/3 of the land, 1/3 of your life, 1/3 of the cards in hand, and 1/3 of the creatures. So, the first game that you're playing against a Pox deck and you don't know that your opponent is playing Pox, you're putting your land out and you put your 4th land out and things are rounded up. So it's 1/3 rounded up. So David plays it, of course, really well. So what he does, he times everything to maximize his benefits. So he'll make sure that you have, for example, 4 cards in hand, 4 lands in play, or
even number.
Yeah, he'll always make sure. So it's always going to be a card advantage that way. Same thing for the life. So his Insidious Bookworm, if it gets sacrificed, is another card that's discarded. So it's all around there. And so the first time you get hit with the Pox, you're almost for sure losing the first game if you didn't expect it. Then the second game and game 3, then you know that it's there. So it slows you down, because do I play an extra creature? Will I have 7 cards in hand, 6 cards in hand? How many lands? So it makes you doubt what you should play or not. So it slows you down a lot. And I didn't think it would be that strong in the Alice format, to be honest. But
Here
David,
it is.
Yeah, he won the tournament, 16-player tournament. So he definitely found a way to make it powerful.
So you have a 4 ice quake to destroy a creature.
Destroy lands.
Land. Sorry, yeah. I don't know why I said that. Do you know what the Soldevi Adnat is?
So what it is when you tap it, you sacrifice a creature or an artifact, and it gives you mana in exchange. So he can sacrifice, for example, his Insidious Bookworm. It'll give him mana, and it'll make discard an opponent, discard a card at random from the opponent.
I remember he told me something else about that. Hold on. Oh yeah, it's also to protect his creature from open-end removal, like a Swords to Plowshare. Because he of course he played the Knight of Stromgal, which is like this is protection from white 2/1 that you can pump or turn first strike. This is get strong, because if you have like 4 swamp, you can beat your opponent with with a 4/1 every turn.
Sorry, Jay, it's so strong in the format. Knight of Stromgal is an extremely strong card in Alice. Yeah.
Order of White Shield in white, which is the same protection from black. You want to play those creature. But what I like is the interaction between Ashen Ghouls, which is a 3/1 that it has ace when it enter from the graveyard, I think, or always. No, I think it's always have.
That's a good question. Yeah,
I have it here. Hold on.
I'm not sure it's haste when it comes into play.
Attack the turn. Yeah, it has ace.
Oh, okay, it has haste. Okay.
You can pay a black and return from your graveyard to the battlefield if you have 3 or more creatures that are above the Ashen Ghouls in your graveyard. So basically that card keep coming back from your graveyard. And the Krovikan Aurora kind of do the same thing. It's for 4 mana. It's a 2/2. You can use it to sacrifice a creature to ping your opponent for 1 damage or a creature. Basically, what you want to do is with the Adnat that sacrifice creature, the Insidious that can be sacrificed, and the Ashen Ghouls that keep coming from the graveyard, you can kind of do like a loop of damage with it. And also, he told me that if you like source to plowshare the Ashen Ghoul so it doesn't come back, well, the Soldnevia Nat can, or the Krovikan Horror can kill it before it get exiled. So you keep it in the graveyard so it's safe. Also, it worked well with the Pox, since the Pox you sacrifice your creature. It also has a Shield Sphere, which is a 0/6, I believe.
Yep,
Or
0/6.
I'm sorry?
0/6. It's a 0/6, and every time it blocks, it gets plus 0, -1. It gets a -1 counter on defense when it blocks.
Okay, so basically it's to put a new creature on the ground. You have also for the I think it matched well with the Pox, is the Lodestone Bubble that you can sacrifice. It costs 0. You can pay 1 to sacrifice it to put up to 3 land from your graveyard on top of your library, a basic land, and then you draw an extra card.
But not only that, Jason, all his artifacts, non-creature artifacts, they're good with Pox, because Pox doesn't destroy artifacts. So
yes,
instead of losing cards from his hand, he puts the artifacts in play. The Zurin Orb, he'll count how many lands he has. He can sacrifice lands to make sure it's a number that's divisible by 3. So the artifacts help him. So it's really all about card advantage.
Nice.
And the last one was there was a Skull Catapult.
Oh yeah, the Skull Catapult too.
Yeah.
This is I play with that card also. It's awesome. For 4, you can pay 1 to sacrifice a creature to deal 2 damage where you want. With the recursion of Ashen Ghouls and Krovikan Horror, you see how it can be good. So yeah, that deck is a big surprise of that tournament, and I think it's one of my favorite that I saw, black deck that I saw since a long time. There's no Necropotence, so no Dark Ritual. So you see, it's really an unusual black deck. That's why I like that format. Anyway.
So that was
that will be the conclusion of that small video. So if you want to join us, you go on, it's in the description of the video. There's a Discord channel. This is where we do our tournament. And there's also the Facebook page, Ice Age Alliance, that you can like talk about your deck. But for the game, it's mainly on the Discord. We play about once, like every tournament is like about 2 months to run out. We pair you with somebody, and you try to find a common time with him to play your game, and then you report the score. So if you're familiar with Magic Webcam, it goes the same. And what is cool with Ice Age and Alliance, those cards are cheap. Like other than the Glacier and a couple of Iron card, most of them are like under 50 cents. So it's incredible how cheap it is. So if you like Brew Deck, I know a guy like he ordered so many cards. I'm like, man, try to play it before.
Some guys are going crazy on.
Yeah, but like it's so fun. So
yeah.
Well, until the next time, see you, Michel.
Excellent. Thanks, Jason.
Take care and share a video. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks.